Idris al-Najjar had the finest stitches in Fez. His shop sat at the end of a crooked alley in the old Medina, wedged between a copper beater and a cellar of dried chameleons. Customers traveled from Rabat in Casablanca just to watch him cut cloth. The fabric seemed to sigh with relief once it fell under his scissors. He lived alone above the shop with a gray cat named Zeneb, and every Friday drank mint tea with the same three friends at Café Clock. Life was small, exact, and entirely enough. One Thursday, just as the call to sunset prayer drifted over the rooftops, a man in a blood-red hood entered without ringing the bell. Beneath the hood, there was only darkness and the wet glint of eyes. "I want to buy your shadow," the stranger said. His voice sounded like coins dropped down a dry well. Idris laughed politely. "My shadow is attached to me, Saidi. It follows for free." The stranger placed 7 heavy gold coins on the cutting table. They were old, thick and warm, as though they had rested against living skin moments before. 7 coins would clear the rent he owed, buy bolts of silk from Damascus, and still leave enough to send his sister in Tangier the medicine that kept her breathing. Idris told himself it was a rich man's prank. "Take it then," he said with a shrug. The stranger drew a silver knife no longer than a finger and sliced the air where Idris's shadow met his heels. There was no pain, only a sudden mountain cold. The shadow peeled away like wet silk, rolling itself into a ribbon of darkness that the stranger wound around his wrist. "Pleasure doing business," the stranger whispered and left. The bell above the door never rang. Next morning, Idris woke to sunlight flooding the room. His shadow was gone, not faint, not hiding, gone. He stood in the courtyard at noon, arms spread, and cast nothing at all. Even Zeneb stared at the empty place on the tiles. At first, the absence felt like freedom. He walked the souks unnoticed, slipping between bodies like smoke. But by evening, the lightness soured. Shopkeepers looked through him. Children pointed and whispered, "Jinn," before mothers hurried them away. When he passed a mirror, only the wall behind appeared. Days became weeks. Customers dwindled. Friends forgot invitations. His reflection began fading at the edges. Without a shadow, Idris was becoming optional to the world. He closed the shop and began to hunt. For 3 years, he chased whispers of the red-hooded man, a night market in Marrakesh, a wedding in the High Atlas, a black-sailed boat leaving Essaouira. Each time he arrived too late. The trail ended with broken people confessing, "He bought my laughter," or "He took the color from my wife's eyes," or "He paid 12 coins for the echo of my dead son." Finally, on a moonless night, he found the cave behind the great waterfall of Uzud. Mist and thunder hid the entrance. Inside, blue oil lamps burned without smoke. Thousands of shadows hung from the ceiling like smoked hams, twitching, folding, trying to escape. Some were child small, some tall as date palms. They moaned with stolen voices. The stranger sat on a stone throne, hood thrown back. Beneath it was no face, only smooth skin where features should have been. In his lap lay an almost finished cloak woven from living shadows. "You came," the faceless man said, needle flashing. "Most don't. Return what is mine. You sold it fairly. I will buy it back. Gold is worthless here. I trade in memory. One bright memory for one hand width of shadow." He offered the silver knife. Idris hesitated only a heartbeat. He had little left to lose. He surrendered the memory of his mother singing him to sleep as a child. A strip of darkness unrolled from the cloak and wrapped his ankles. Weight returned. He felt real again from the soles up. He gave away the taste of his first kiss behind the tanneries. Mint tea and terror. The shadow climbed to his knees. Season after season he returned, trading the brightest jewels of his life. The day his father taught him the names of stars, the scent of orange blossom in spring, the pride of his first finished thobe, the sound of his sister laughing the week before she died. Each memory carved out left a cold hollow inside his chest, but the shadow grew. One winter night he climbed the slippery path carrying only one memory left. His sister's face the last time he saw her, thin and smiling despite the pain. The cloak was nearly complete, vast enough to eclipse a city. "You're late," the stranger said. "I need only one final piece." Idris looked up. Among the thousands, he finally saw his own shadow, now magnificent, shot through with silver threads from all the years it had fed on others' grief. "Give me the last memory," the stranger said, "and you may leave whole." Idris studied the knife on the table. The faceless man did not stop him when he took it. He sliced his newly regained shadow free a second time. But instead of letting it roll away, he seized it,